Hey everyone, Ronaldo from Master School Dances. I've had a lot of requests to talk about the follow spots. Now usually when I've done follow spots, I've done them where the spotlights are all on one side of the truss. However, doing one of the built-in truss layouts that's in CompuShow, I'm going to go ahead and I put one for the ADJ InnoSpot Elite. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's one of those that you really got to practice, and it works best obviously in person. You can't do this in 3D because A, the 3D diagram isn't always accurate when it comes to the follow spots, and B, obviously your lights are going to be in different positioning, so you cannot go by 3D. But I'm doing this just so you can kind of get an idea of how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new switch. We're going to have it empty. We're going to put in XY, and we are going to call it FollowSpot. Make sure that you name it FollowSpot. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and I got my 4 InnoSpots. I'm going to turn on my dimmer. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the shutter, and I want the shutter. See this here? This basically means that when the follow spot goes out of bounds, meaning areas that it hasn't been calibrated for, the lights will shut off. That's going to make things a little bit easier as far as following people. If you're out of bound area, they all don't go crazy. They just shut off. Now, I'm going to take my master, and I'm going to designate it as number 1. Slave is number 2. Slave for number 3. Slave for number 4. With me so far? Great. This is the quadrant. Now, the developers say that you should try to stay on the same quadrant as possible because you can reach the same point with different XY values, meaning that, when you rotate the head around, you'll actually hit this area twice. Again, that's always depending on, your configuration and everything else. To me, it's one of those play with it as you go. Sometimes I've had them all over the quadrant area, sometimes not so much. I'm going to go ahead and hit the record button, and I see 0.1 out of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move this a little bit, and I see my first point. I'm just going to go ahead and move it towards the center. Now I'm going to grab my second one. Look how easy this is. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to move it towards the center. And again, I'm looking at 1 point here, 2 points. I'm going to try to get them on the same quadrant. Let's see if that's possible. So there we go. Let's see how that works. Okay, so it's on the same quadrant, but at least it's on the same side. So that's better than nothing. Let's go ahead and get this up to the top half there. Again, same area, great. And same thing over here. We're going to go on the top half. And this guy's going to be a little bit tricky. There we go. Same thing there. Now, of course, if you have an iris, for example, the InnoSpot Elites have an iris, you'll want to turn the iris in the smallest position available. So it's nothing but a mere dot. So if you can align the iris perfectly, or at least close to, as the light expands, you're going to notice very accurate tracking. So we got that one done. Now let's go ahead and do second point. I'm going to click on my second point. I'm going to go back to my first master, and we're just going to move this guy right over here, right? Now I'm going to take the second light, and again, we're going to kind of match it up. There we go. Let's see. Bring this back down a little bit. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Okay, now of course you can use your grid, you can use your mouse and keyboard, you could, map this to MIDI-Con, whatever is the easiest way for you to control it. I'm on parallels right now, not my CompuShow rig, so basically what I'm seeing here is if I go down here, it's not going to look, it actually jumps quadrants quite a bit. And I don't think there's really any way to actually control that. Let's see. Maybe, maybe not. So obviously that's one of those you'd have to see in person. But in person, that beam should still be fairly wide. And let's try to keep it on that same side. And let's see, here we go. Whoops. And let's see, there we go, perfect. So again, I can clean that up a little bit more if I want to, but as I go from 1, it doesn't look very clean. Why? Because there's only 2 points, which is perfectly normal. Now we're going to go ahead and go to a third point, and let's go back to the first one. Now, of course, you can kind of aim at different corners, whatever you need to do. To me, I just try to hit a little bit of everything, and I've had really good success with this. Okay, I have that there. Let's see, here we go. 1, 2, and okay. So then we have getting a little closer there. You'll notice how it reacts differently each individual time. Now we're going to go ahead and hit 4 points. Now you'll notice that it's kind of creating a shape. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea how that part works. Okay, so we're going to move this over here. Move that there. Move that there. Move that there. Okay. And we have 1, 2. Not on the same quadrant, but you can kind of see how they're starting to form a little better now, other than quadrant 1. But if you notice how they kind of jump and don't form right, that could also be the 3D not rendering things properly. So let's go ahead and go to the 5th one. So we're going to go here again. And again, doing it where you have moving heads on opposite ends of the dance floor area or corners is definitely one of the tougher ways of doing it. There we go. Come on. And let's see. There we go. So again, now we have 1. Let's see. We have 1. Again, that's acting kind of odd, but I think that's just a 3D rendering. So you can kind of see how it's starting to position a little better. Again, let's go to now 1 more. And this time, again, even if you hit the same corner a couple different times, it doesn't matter. The more points you have, the better it's going to be. And we're going to take this guy right here. So now we're going to go here. And there we go. And let's see, now we've got... There we go. Okay. And let's see. Okay, and now for number 4. So again, even though the user manual or the developer says, stay on the same quadrant, it's really difficult. What I found better is it's easier for me to stay on the same side. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, I got kind of lucky. Now this guy here, I'm noticing that, oh, right there. Okay, so let's make sure that's all in the same area. Yep. And then 5. 1. Okay, so I think that might just be the 3D thing acting up on me. And again, we're going to go to 7. And let's see, here we go. We'll just kind of move it over here to a nice center point. And I'm kind of rushing through this, but you get the idea. Let's see. And we have... Well, this has to be the most exciting video I think I've ever made. You guys must be on the edge of your seats. We're going to go ahead and click X and save it. So, let me move this guy for a second. Whoops. Yep, okay, so that's all the way up, and it's pitch black because it's out of bounds. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab that first one, because 1 is master. Turn on FollowSpot. There we go. Sorry, took a second. Ah, there we go. Hold on. It's kind of difficult with the mouse, but you notice how it turns off black for a second, and the reason it does that is because, see right there, it goes out of bounds, bam, it's out. So how do you fix that out of bounds? You make more points. And again, try your best to stay in quadrants. Now you can see where that light is kind of going haywire. So that's where you really got to practice and really limit a certain area. If not, then you only have your spotlights on certain sides. So again, I can just kind of move it here. Let me see if I can... There we go. Man, I really wished I could adjust the sensitivity on my computer here. But there you go. So I mean, that's FollowSpot in a nutshell. Before you go and start trying to do this type of particular setup, I heavily recommend you just try doing maybe 2 or 3 or 4 moving heads on the same side, meaning on the same plane of truss. So 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I've done this both ways, and it definitely acts a lot better than it does on the 3D. The 3D thing could just be a rendering error or whatnot. But where it is turning off, that is because it's out of bounds. So with something like this, I've done about 20 to 30 points, and then I get a really nice even coverage. So I hope that helps. And again, that is FollowSpot for CompuShow. If you guys have any requests or questions, please let me know. Thanks so much. God bless.